Hi, and hope all is well with you and your loved ones, and hope you're safe and well. I'm Dr. Amin Kaboli, lecturer at EPFL, business consultant and executive coach, and I have the honor and pleasure to discuss the future of logistics post-COVID. Of course, it's an ongoing topic, and I would love to talk with Dr. Bambauer, our guest, CEO of PostLogistics and member of executive board of Swiss Post. Thank you, Dieter, for your time.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to see you again and to have the chance to share some thoughts on a quite current topic. And hopefully everybody who's online enjoys the next couple of minutes and neglects for a second that the weather outside is perfect.
So thank you. So to start with, how has COVID changed the nature of what you do and how you do it?
Well, first of all, I would like to challenge the headline, post-COVID. I think we are somehow in a period of post-lockdown era, not that already, we haven't arrived already the post-COVID era. And if we consider what's going on in other countries like Serbia, Sweden, US in particular, we are in the middle of everything. And we have no idea whether we will suffer a second wave also in Central Europe, also in Switzerland. And therefore, it's essential to realize what has happened so far, what are the learnings, and how can we compete, how can we deal with the upcoming situation, whether it's within a second wave or simply post-COVID era.
Indeed, it's a very valid point. We are almost not done probably with the first wave, but we can see the resurgence of cases and then the second wave and probably even third wave. So how did it impact PostLogistics? Because we still received our online orders.
Yes.
So definitely you and your colleagues were working during this lockdown.
Just let's realize what has happened actually. Caused by a pandemic, customers' behavior have changed from one day to the other day. When the Federal Council announced the lockdown and told everybody to go home and to order from home, we went to office and implemented the crisis committee on corporate level because we had a rough idea of what will happen the next day, meaning the next day will be Christmas. What is Christmas in the parcel business, in the online business? You nearly double the volume within a couple of weeks because everybody, and we appreciate that, we love that, buys goods, send gifts around the globe. And that's something what we are used to preparing upfront properly. Mm-hmm. It takes us 3 months to get prepared for a season like Christmas. We know when Black Friday starts. We know when we have to face the fact of a cyber week, and we are prepared to manage the huge volumes. This time we had 12 hours to get prepared. And maybe one figure, what's demonstrated a little bit the challenge. At present, we have about 12% share of the B2C business, which is managed by online services. Mm-hmm. Still 88% get shopped on the high street offline. Mm-hmm. And only the doubling of this 12%, it's not that much, from 12 to 24% would mean that we have to fold 100% more capacity than normally. And that gives a slight idea in which situation we have been when the lockdown was announced in the middle of March this year. And in addition to the pure volume, we had to cope with social distancing because there were people in the sorting center on the last mile, and we all of a sudden were asked to keep 2 meters distance between 2 employers. Yeah. And in the wintertime at Christmas, we're used to employing additional people, and we stand shoulder by shoulder at the bells and managing the volumes. No chance, no way. The distance was even bigger than in normal days, and not even thinking about the situation at Christmas. And this was really, really exciting. And but you mentioned that you still got your goods. It
Exactly.
has changed slightly. And we all know this nice Maslow pyramid, yeah, from physiological needs up to self-actualization. Wow. And we have something comparable in logistic industries. The basic is simply, I got the parcel. This is the basic. Not damaged, not wet, on the right spot. This is the basic. And the rocket side at the top of the pyramid is called instant delivery, same-day delivery, and you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very interesting to learn that all of a sudden people were happy with the basics. They were happy to receive simply the goods. Nobody claimed to have it instant, same day, or 100% next day. And that helped us. That helped us to get it finally done.
Excellent point. I mean, that's a great job that is being done. I have seen, I was following on LinkedIn, I've seen like, I think early April, you and your team went back again and restarted the hub and some centers, not all centers, but some centers, I believe, right?
Yeah, we added to the normal capacities of PostLogistics, we added capacities of our dear colleagues of PostMail, mm-hmm. because we had to face a plus 50, plus 70% volume in late March and April and beginning of May still. And in the same way, the mail volume declined because mail is somehow linked to business, and when the standard business is going down, then the volume declines as well. And all of a sudden we had additional capacities on the side of PostMail, where our dear colleagues were able to support us and to sort parcels.
I see.
And in addition, we sorted parcels on the campgrounds. And luckily, the weather was like today, it was sunny and warm. Exactly. And we used the area of the parking grounds to sort the parcels, to prepare the last mile distribution.
I see. So as if I understand it correctly, since we were in a lockdown, there were no organization that's sending, right, this is the ritual here, that they send the letter by email, like official letters, by mail. So this capacity, this is spare capacity being used for this e-commerce, let's say parcels or deliveries.
Sorting parcels to get them prepared for the last mile distribution.
These changes definitely. This COVID situation changed our normal routine of life, and if you want to call it like new normal or post COVID or during COVID or during or post lockdown, what are the changes that you see will happen predominantly in logistics?
First of all, returning to the parcel business, even if the volume will not remain on this extremely high level of plus 40, plus 50% over the year, but we are absolutely convinced that once you experience the advantages of online shopping, the convenience, the transparency, the easiness, then you will not give it up at all. Yeah. And therefore, we expect, that's not a Swiss phenomenon, that's a global phenomenon. We expect that the volume will remain on a plus 20% than before. And even if it sounds very cynical, COVID is the best marketing campaign for online trading ever. Yeah, mm-hmm. Even if it's very cynical, I would repeat that. And but this is a matter of fact, and this will remain. Other kind of logistics is also affected, and let's leave for a second the parcel business. Let's focus on a classical logistics business like groupage, like warehousing. All smaller forwarders, or even the larger one, who are focused on dedicated industries like automotive, mm-hmm. they are still suffering.
Exactly.
Because they are depending on the sales of cars. And once the sales has stopped, because people are not keen on walking to the shops, to the outlets, the entire supply chain will stop because no sales, no production, no logistics.
Absolutely.
And they are stuck in a very, very difficult situation. And that will have an impact on, that had an impact on global logistics change, in particular in the area of companies who are strongly involved in industries like gastronomy, tourism, automotive, and some others.
I see. Look, we talked about this, about the car manufacturers. The sales dropped like 40 to 50% in April and May. I don't have the number of June. This is the same case, even higher, for a watch industry in Switzerland. So watch experienced around 70 to 80% drop in their sales.
Sure.
Yeah. And then they're going more on the e-commerce, definitely, which is not at all the classical watch industry, which they like to have a showroom and then have the consumer inside.
Yeah, from a logistics perspective, watch industry is not a volume industry. Yeah, watch is a small, very luxury good, very limited volume, totally different logistics supply chain, and it wouldn't have any severe impact on the global supply chains. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's significant for the supply chain in terms of luxury goods service providers. We also in this business we realized the drop, but in big picture it's not affected.
We talked about Switzerland. Let me just a little bit bring we go a little bit beyond the borders. Border were closed. We had border closure, absence of passenger flights, and then forced like all of these postal agencies to suspend international mail shipment. How did it impact us here, inbound, outbound, let's say, shipment?
Yeah. First of all, global supply chains today, it's a commodity. It works perfectly. We are used to it's the basis, the foundation for the globalization. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and regardless if you focus on overland transportation by road and rail, if you look at the transport by air, sea freight, everything is organized perfectly. But we have to keep in mind that the conditions in all countries involved might be different. How to deal with the disease, which kind of measures have been taken by governments, and that could affect the global supply chains. And that's in consequence. Not only the public started arguing whether it makes sense to rely only on this global supply chains, why it is necessary to manufacture certain goods only in countries beyond everything.
Exactly.
Might it make sense to return to a more regional model, to be more resilient, to be more flexible? And this is, from my perspective, quite a comparable situation which we unfortunately experienced a couple of years ago. I'm talking about September 11th, mm-hmm. when at least in the US, the logistics broke down because everybody was locked, stopped, and the replenishment of the retailers suffered severely because the American retailers are used to relying on huge centralized warehouse infrastructure, yeah, from where they distribute their goods around the country, no borders, no limits, easy. And all of a sudden it didn't work anymore. And they returned to a more local oriented logistics strategy. And that might be also a model in the light of the current pandemic, how to cope with future things like that. Maybe it makes sense to return, not to Switzerland. We will not manufacture cars in Switzerland, therefore the country is simply too small, but maybe to think about alternatives, maybe somehow midway.
I see. It's a very good point. As I think it was Winston Churchill said, never miss a good crisis. What would be a proper recovery plan in your point of view? You're experiencing things, and this pandemic won't be the first and won't be the last, unfortunately. We experienced tsunami, we experienced 9/11 and earthquakes and any other disruptions in supply chain. What would be, in your point of view, a proper recovery plan?
If you really need a recovery plan, then you did mistakes in the past. A service provider, like a logistics provider, has always to anticipate. He has to talk to his customers, to his service providers, to his partners, to listen what the competitor says, to anticipate the future in all directions. Yeah, mm-hmm. Because whenever you come in a position to react, then it's too late. You have to act. Yeah. And that was an advantage of Swiss Post in that respect. We prepared ourselves for a significant growth in e-commerce. Mm-hmm. We established new production plants, distribution centers throughout the country. We have several additional in the pipeline in order to cope with additional volume, meaning we are already in the process to anticipate additional significant volumes. Mm-hmm. And that was very helpful for us to get along with this crisis. And therefore, my general remark on that, or my general recommendation is simply to remain extremely flexible, to be diverse in terms of service provision, to be diverse when it comes to customer portfolio, simply to be prepared for the unknown. Yeah, that sounds very simple. That's very much in general, but this is a core competence and a core attitude of logistics service provider, because they have to be flexible, because all of a sudden your customers change the size of a certain standard emballage, and all of a sudden you have to get along with that. Mm-hmm. You have only a highly automated warehouse which is only capable of managing the current format. You are out.
Indeed.
Yeah. Flexibility, sort of power of innovation, and being connected.
Mm-hmm. This brings me, it's very valuable points you shared. As you mentioned, probably sounds simple, but they're all deep. Flexibility, agility, staying connected or connection within the company. These are definitely characteristics of an effective leader. Let me bring it to this question. What does it take to be an effective leader in such situation? Crisis, let's say, in situation of crisis.
It's a very simple thing to rely on a certain experience. Yeah, because things will pop up again after a couple of years, and
Indeed.
patterns are somehow comparable. Yeah, to rely on a strong team, a strong and a diverse team. Yeah, logistics is, to be very honest, independent from all digitization and automation and robotics. This is a high educated craftsmanship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, managed by people. It's people's business. It's no rocket science. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and simply to realize that this business is characterized by the quality, by the attitude, by the dedication of involved people. Mm-hmm. And if the right people around you, then we master each kind of crisis. Not perfectly, not 100%, but you are prepared. And therefore, in a crisis like that, try to figure out what kind of situation is comparable to the current crisis. And we simply took the example Christmas. Okay, tomorrow's Christmas. We didn't know that, but now it's Christmas Eve, and how to get along. So, and then we start a routine like Christmas. Try to accelerate however it was possible, to accelerate and to simply to take the same measures, to apply the same procedures as we used to doing. And what was very helpful, not to reinvent whatever. Rely on your experience, rely on your partners, and also talk to your customers. Because our customers, for them was Christmas. All of a sudden, they were able to sell 30, 40% more. Wow.
I see.
What perfect situation. And they didn't realize at the beginning that their partners, Swiss Post, with a significant market share, won't be able to manage this huge amount of parcels every day. And we hosted a round table after 1 week crisis. We invited everyone physically, and all of them, they came. And we provide them a little bit more insight, what's going on. We showed them a video how the parcel centers currently work with social distancing and an end, and try to figure out how can we deal with this situation jointly as partners in a joint market where we have the same goal, the same aim, to be successful, to provide services, to sell goods, and at the end of the day, to make money. Yeah. And it took a while because one or the other was not really happy to get somehow limited volume-wise. But at the end of the day, it was really amazing how this community interacted. And I was really proud that we mastered that as a team of marketing players and customer. They didn't complain only because the parcel arrived only 3 days later. The merchants accepted that they limited the volume partly, and in particular the politics allowed us with Post, as we are we have the pleasure to provide the universal services, meaning we are obliged to deliver every day parcels and letters in each corner of Switzerland. And we were able to agree on a limited agreement that we could ease a little bit the rules and regulations when it comes to service provision in the universal area. And this mix of actions, commitments, agreements, at the end of the day, managed the success.
I see. It's fascinating story. This is very valuable. I received a question from the audience. In what ways can logistics providers use the disruption from COVID-19 to benefit their operations in the future? Partially you answered, but they were talking about just a smaller, let's say, logistic provider.
And I miss it.
In what ways can logistics providers use the disruption from COVID-19 to benefit their operations in the future?
Okay, yeah.
Lesson learned, let's say.
Yeah, very simple. You realize immediately what didn't work in such a situation. Yeah, you have the red dots on your screen, wherever, however you manage that, and you simply get advice what has to be tackled. Yeah, we got the same experience. We know exactly, of course, where we have one or the other weak points. In such a crisis, nothing else than a trial under very difficult conditions.
I see. Thank you. But I have another question. Did the 3 months long increase in online shopping pose new long-term challenges to Post, like Swiss Post? And how did you react, which is part of it we covered at the beginning of the talk. How did you avoid chaos?
Avoid what?
Chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. Avoid chaos. Yeah. To avoid chaos, and we were very close to that. That was because imagine you have all of a sudden 80% more volume than usual. You are not prepared. You had no clue that Christmas waits next door. You have this social distancing. You have no chance to get properly organized. Then chaos is quite close. And we had days where 1 parcel or even 1,000 parcels more would have killed the operations because then it's stuck. And we avoid the chaos in a way that we simply realized our capabilities, our limits, the capability of our resources, and simply pass only that volume through the organization what really fits through, and the rest had to wait.
I see.
We simply neglected for a moment our SLAs. We simply neglected that a priority parcel has to arrive next day.
Mm-hmm.
It took sometimes 2 days or even 3 days, and simply focused on our capabilities in order to survive. And that was the only way to avoid the chaos, not to listen all these monkeys on the shoulder, you have to, you must, and I just got a call, and forget that.
Exactly.
Simply act professional.
Exactly. It's a very good point. You talked about SLA earlier, service level agreement, or the target that you set. Most of the companies, they treat this moment or this situation as just outlier or something once upon a time. But actually, to really integrate that in the data and in a service level, and seeing it, not seeing it like, no, it was a crisis situation, this is different. And that's the reason my KPI shows 60% instead of 95% as routine. How do you see this part?
Relaxed.
And what is your advice for the others, I mean, other managers and executives who are just like treating the data in a way that this is, okay, that's an outlier once every 10 or 18 or blue moon is going to happen?
I just mentioned this pyramid, this logistics pyramid from...
I like that metaphor, yeah.
Wow, it's arrived and it's not damaged, up to predictive distribution.
Instant delivery, yeah.
People were so happy, and I'm serious, they were so happy to see how we deal with this huge volume every day. We got warm letters, there were TV spots on YouTube, posts, we love you, we are so happy. A support from the people, it was amazing.
Excellent.
Really amazing. Nobody blamed us, nobody, because we were all sitting in the boat and nobody was fishing, everybody was rowing.
Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, my personal experience, it was like, I really enjoyed I know it sounds probably cynical, I really enjoyed the time of lockdown by reading different books. And thanks to you and your colleagues, I could easily order through like platforms and have my book at my doorstep, and then finish it for the week or within a couple of days. That's great. Let me, I really appreciate all the efforts. We have other questions here. For someone with a lot of experience like yourself, how much did you, this experience matter in the completely new situation, or probably was not new, you experienced before disruption in supply chain? Was it useful, or having the experience before, or was it a wake-up call to do things differently? It's a very good question, Bakary.
It's a core question, yeah, because logistics, in particular the mail and parcel business, sounds very standardized. No peaks. You know, the peak is in winter. You have to be prepared to start the preparation work late September. It sounds very, very predictable, but it isn't. It looks like it isn't, because we have customers who go for a certain sales action, and all of a sudden they sell 10,000 TVs on Saturday. We get the information on Friday. We are used to managing those kind of smaller crises. We have the tools, we have the measures, we have the experience. And what I said before, in crises like that, it's always important to stay calm, to realize what is possible, what is not possible, to master what is possible, and to explain to everybody what couldn't be done, at least for a certain limited period of time. Communication is very important. Yeah, we set up a communication channel to our customers, to the public, and explain what's going on. And we got strongly supported by the politics, where we had an open ear, and where we got supported also from a communication perspective. This is essential. People have to understand that we can't do it better than we do it at present, and then it works. Yeah, stay calm, stay professional, rely on your experience, but test your limits. Yeah, test your limits. This was exciting because just to let you know, we still experience plus 20, plus 25% more parcels a day than we had in the comparable months last year. And we are very close that we could manage this additional volume with the previous capacities. No additional capacities. People learn. Yeah, it's a learning process because there are people in charge who do this business for years. Yeah, and if they get confronted with a certain particular situation, they learn from that and start at every place. How can I do my business a little bit better? You know, I wouldn't call it a continuous improvement program. That sounds very sophisticated. It's simply experience. It's people's business. People are in charge, and they learn and apply.
Interesting. I have another question, very good question here. With the rise of online grocery, Post gonna support this part as well?
Yeah, we are in this business as well. And compared to other countries like the UK, US, France, the share of grocery which is ordered online was very limited. And because the landscape of retail in Switzerland is excellent. At each and every corner, we have to represent as a layout of Coop, Micro, Coop. I couldn't name them all, and it's a perfect situation when you want to shop your food. But all of a sudden, these shops were at least partly locked. People didn't feel comfortable anymore to go shopping in a way they used it before. And they tried to order their goods, their grocery online. And luckily it worked. And once you realize that it works, you will not give it up. Yeah,
exactly.
It will not remain on the same level. And the good, I'm very much in favor of this kind of business model. And I see there a huge future, in particular facing the fact that people become older and older and are not more that mobile than they are in younger years, and to order food, to stay independent, to stay at home. That is a story for today and even for tomorrow. And I'm very happy that this crisis had also a second positive impact. People got used to, and they will rely on that in the future as well.
Exactly. As we discussed at the beginning of the talk, it's consumer behavior change is happening right now, and then we are experiencing a change in the consumer behavior. In United States, for example, there are cases, I don't remember the name of the startup exactly, but Amazon Fresh is one, the Walmart is distributing as well. Plus there's one startup, I don't remember exactly the name, unfortunately. My bad, my memory.
You mean one or a international one?
Yeah, it's national for United States.
Sure.
Yeah, and then there's another one in China as well, Hema. They're doing it, but mainly in Hema, they're doing it in a dense area. And the difficulty in Switzerland is like, since we are very small, lovely country, but it's like a village, and we are dispersed a bit. It's like Zurich and Geneva and Lausanne and Bern, and the rest is just like dispersed around. That probably make a little bit of difficulty for instant delivery or grocery, let's say, shopping and support.
It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Logistics is used to reinvent themselves every year.
Exactly.
And I'm fully convinced that also in the grocery business, there will be structures developed in the future which are capable of serving also the remote areas. Yeah, it's a matter of demand. Once demand is there, the solution will show up.
Thank you. There is another question. I would take this one as the last question from the audience. we can leave one space as well for one more question, but there are a couple of questions. I just leave, I ask this one. As you said, online shopping is rising. Should logistics company expand their operation to satisfy this new demand, or is it too early for heavy investment and demand might drop?
Yeah,
We
chicken
don't,
and egg.
exactly.
Chicken and egg.
We don't know.
Well, we have asked this question ourselves a couple of years ago. We decided to go, not in the way we have done it maybe 10 or 20 years ago, setting up huge distribution center, huge parcel sorting center, and hoping that they get filled over the years. We changed our strategy. This is a strategy which is quite comparable to the strategy of other companies. In other countries, we go more for smaller centers with a larger number of distribution centers to be more flexible. Yeah, we have always 2 to 3 new sorting centers in the pipeline, and we build pieces. We buy pieces of land, and we have always the chance to develop in parallel to the market, anticipating maybe the next 2, 3, 4 years, and are able to stop the development of resources in case the market will change its development. So flexibility, but you have to go. You have no chance. Either you're in the market, then you have to invest to take the risk, or you are maximum the second in command.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well said. Last question. It's about the disruption that happened during COVID, and especially the early, let's say, phase of COVID, like April and May. In order to manage this increase in volume, was your strategy mainly to increase personnel, to increase efficiency, or to change the way things are done?
Everything.
Mixed, yeah.
You have to play. You have to play on all kind of things you have on hand. It's simply to increase efficiency, to expand working hours, not to let the people go on holidays. A very simple thing. To consider additional capacities within your company, to cooperate with competitors who have limited volume in this parcel business and use their warehouses for other purposes, and then play all instruments you have.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Ditya. I know we would love to have you longer, but I know you have other business meetings, and it was a great pleasure to talk to you. I would like to thank you and your team for supporting all of us in Switzerland with daily operations, providing us our online orders. I know some of them, they were out of size and out of shape, and it was an amazing job that you and your colleagues have done and managed to bring all of the things in our doorstep. Really, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your sharing.
Thank you very much.
Any last words, any last thoughts you want to share with us?
I think, well, Switzerland has done a great job, is still doing a great job to cope with this crisis. Politics, the industries, and also logistics industries. And we as Swiss Post, we have a particular situation. We are considered as a logistics backbone of Switzerland, and our core mission is simply to keep Switzerland connected. And from my perspective, I can say mission accomplished.
Excellent job. Hats off for all of your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye, ciao.